Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to this Superliminal Games MTG Arena gameplay video. I'm going to take you through a constructed event, that's what they're called, a best-of-1 constructed event with this slight take off of a Temur Elementals deck that I found online. I say slight take because I lowered the mana curve a little bit by taking out an Omnath and Cavalier of Thorns, which I'm not entirely certain about having taken out, and put in two more Living Twister because against aggro decks, which I expect to see a fair number of, a 3 mana body with this much toughness is very good. Exactly what I'm looking for. So on top of that, it's just basically ramp out a bunch of elementals using Risen Reef, Cavalier of Thorns to get more hand refill, Hydroid Crisis to get more hand refill, and sort of go from there. We're doing best of one, so the sideboard isn't going to be there, but I was a couple cards short, a couple Karns specifically short of the sideboard, and didn't bother to jam the wild cards because I didn't again need the sideboard. But I have a lot of faith in this deck. I've actually been playing a different Temur Elementals deck on the ladder for a little while, kind of off and on when I haven't been playing mono white, which has been doing really well for me, but is very boring for a video and is very long in the tooth. So let's get a look at what this other Temur Elementals deck can get for us. Play modes. Let's constructed event. Let's enter gems because what we have is gems right now. We'll get the gold back later, but that's fine. Let's take this deck and sure, see how it goes. This is a blind test. I've never played this particular build of this deck before. I've seen it played, saw it played on SCG coverage this past weekend, so I know what it's capable of, I know what it does, but I also know what it does because I'm playing Temur Element on the ladder. But that's it. This is a complete blind playthrough. It's kind of what I've been doing. I find a standard deck that I like and play it. Stone Cold Blind. Okay, it's Breeding Pool. Probably Steam Vents tapped, Pool untapped into Paradise Druid. Yeah, this gets to Cavalier of Thorns on turn 4. If we had like a Llanowar Elf, we could get there on turn 3, which would be really cool, but still getting to go here is a lot faster. So sure, why not? Give our opponent the hello. That's what Max taught us. Okay, our opponent has a Plains, unfortunately. I hope this isn't Feather or Mono White. Feather just because it's annoying, and Mono White because it's actually going to be... Okay, Black White. We probably got vampires. Yep, Legion Lieutenant. That's a vampire. Glad the Clampire. Alright, we get to save ourselves some damage. Let's Paradise Druid down. What we might end up wanting to do... I mean, ramping out a 5-6 with Reach is pretty good against them, so I think our plan is still to do that, but... Dawn of Hope is an interesting choice. I mean, this deck does gain a lot of life, so there's that. We can play this Breeding Pool tapped. This Leafkin Druid. Alright, so now we are at Cavalier of Thorns next turn. Unless they enchantment remove our Leafkin Druid, and if they do, okay, another Legion Lieutenant is pretty annoying, but Cavalier of Thorns still blocks those pretty well. So we'll no blocks, go to 17. Get another land. We're just going to play this Cavalier of Thorns right off. And card onto the battlefield is Breeding Pool. Enters tapped. So that was actually pretty terrible. 2 Risen Reefs going to the bin really kind of sucks, but let's go play that into play tapped. And next turn we get a pretty sizable Hydroid Crisis if we want it, because we can play a Leafkin Druid, which will then allow our Leafkin Druid... Okay, there's a Vraska's Contempt. Well, that's annoying. Looks like we're going for the pretty sizable Hydroid Crisis next turn, because we need to be able to do something against these Legion Lieutenants. So we will play a Leafkin Druid. That doesn't actually do anything for us, so we'll play this tapped. 2, 2, 4, 5. Play that with an extra 5, which does tap us out, but allows us to block and gains us some life. Draws us a couple cards. So we're ramping. Sadly, we did mill my favorite card in all of M20, which is kind of bummy, but what can you do? Sometimes they got it. All right, Forerunner, they're going to tutor up some Vampire. Well, a Vampire. Notably also a 4/4, which is has the stat Big. Thanks Auto Tapper for tapping their swamps, so that way we know that they do not have Twilight Prophet. That's going to be annoying, especially because we don't have the elementals to Omnath that out. I'm going to play this Temple of Mystery because we don't need this turn. Get rid of these lands. Man, we're seeing some lands. Gonna go ahead and just put some more blockers on the field. Yep. So next turn we can play Omnath, play a land, and draw a card. It's gonna 3 damage, so we can get rid of one of the Legion Lieutenants with Omnath. If we get a cheap, yep, happens. Forerunner Big. Just attack with the Forerunner. Boy, I just comboed off. I'm gonna give the Hydroid Crisis to the Forerunner here because we got to do something. All right. So now we can Omnath, take down a Legion Lieutenant. And actually Omnath again and take down the other. To do this Omnath, other Legion Lieutenant. We're going to play our Rootbound Crag, target an elemental, draw a card. We got another Cavalier of Thorns, which we are going to play. This is why this deck is great. We're not milling anything cool this time. So we're going to draw another card, put another counter on Omnath, and draw another Omnath. All right. This is why this deck is cool, because that turn was bonkers. We cast 2 Omnaths and a Cavalier of Thorns. Also, our opponent has 5 lands. We have okay. Well, put another card from your graveyard on top of your library. Let's Hydroid Crisis. Yeah, we'll absolutely exile Cavalier. Hydroid Crisis on top. Go ahead and wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We will pay 2 life. Be able to cast this for 8. Paying 10 mana. And there's a Nissa for us. Yeah. This feels pretty good. Go ahead, opponent. Gain your life. Hey, that's cool. Then there's an answer to it. So let's do that. Exile that old Twilight Prophet. Play this Risen Reef. Play this Omnath. Just tap the mana, computer. Dealing damage. Taking action, putting a land into play. Putting a counter on Omnath. Drawing a card. Play tapped. A counter on the Risen Reef. Draws a card. Attacks for 8. I mean, that's a powerful sequence of plays. It's a really powerful sequence of plays. I don't even care that our opponent's drawing 2 cards. They had to pay mana for that. Sure, opponent. I don't think you know just how badly this is going to go for you, but got it. Because I got 14 damage on the board. So let's just attack. Alright. And your 1 mana spell win you the game. Nope. Alright. Well, as the cat claps for us, so do our dummy thick thighs. Clap of my ass cheeks or my thighs. Alright, that's 1 win. Gotta keep it going. Dummy thick. So Cavalier of Thorns looked absolutely nuts there. I may need to put one back in. After this event, I might need to tinker with this deck list a little bit. Alright, we got a Llanowar Elf. That means we have not, sadly, a turn 2 Living Twister unless we draw another red land, but we do have Nissa, which I love. All right, let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and just take the shock here. It might not be necessary, but I'd rather take it here than later. All right, well, I'm going to take that shock again, and we're going to play this 2-5. So this thing gums up the ground pretty well. I mean, against an opponent who plays Breeding Pool, I'm not entirely concerned unless their follow-up has red in it, and we're playing an Elementals Mirror, which we very well could be doing. Just green-blue again. Now have... Let's jam. Are missing the all-critical blue mana here. But do get to jam. And the turn. Now, if we want to, we can pick up a land and throw it at this Brineborn Cutthroat. So we're against blue-green Flash, which kind of sucks, but also is kind of whatever. The Brineborn Cutthroat is very good, and I do, even though it's going to keep me off of casting Nissa, I do want to throw actually this forest in our hand at this Brineborn. So we'll do that at the end of their turn. Throw that into the garbage. I mean, if you want to dive it down, if you got that, that's great. I don't actually know much about blue-green. All right, we got a Leafkin Druid. Still doesn't give us Hydroid Crisis, but at least it does give us Nissa next turn. And can jam with the Living Twister again. Still don't want to jam with the Llanowar Elf, just to represent having more untapped mana. I want to make them fearful of doing things there. Spectral Sailor. Flash in, opponent. Flash in. How are you going to go Wizards and put two really good, well, really good Flash creatures in the same set? That's annoying. Frustrating. Okay. I will take one. No blocks. Got it, opponent. Alright, there's our blue. Which I'm still not entirely certain. This is tough, because I do want to draw cards. So I think it's, well, I have a replacement Nissa. So let's go ahead and attack. Living Twister again. Just moved, just activated the ability instead of doing that. So let's 2 our opponent again. And then let's tap these. These. They have a counter here. It feels good because we have another one in our hand. Sure, Frilled Mystic. Got it. God, love that card. Love that card so much. It's a Lizard Wizard. An Elf Lizard Wizard, but it's a Lizard Wizard. King Gizzard and the. So, alright, well. Several people have suggested, people that I know personally and professionals, have suggested that this is the best deck in the format. So, I mean, probably. Very good. That hurt. Go ahead and try that again. What I realized here is when I make an elemental, if I get to make an elemental, I can then tap Leafkin Druid or Incubation Druid. Have a Syncopate. Okay, well. That just kind of sucks. No attacks and just end the turn here. We draw a land next turn. I'm probably into Hydroid Crisis and putting them on having a third counterspell a third turn in a row. I know the deck does run a bunch of them because it likes to operate at the end of your turn or during your turn if it has to, but put them on it if we have to. All right. You get wonned by the Spectral Sailor again. And pass it back. Another Living Twister. I go ahead and try Patient Druid and see what counterspell this is going to have befall it. Okay, they've hovered every one of our cards at least twice. Now for a third time. They're reading every single card we have. Jeez, opponent. Oh, opponent, what are we doing here? Okay, good. Alright, so we have the mana to adapt that, so we're just gonna pass it up again. Because if we can adapt that, that's 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's a Hydroid Krasis with an X of 8 next turn, assuming no shenanigans. Alright. Nightpack Ambusher, gonna be a problem. Makes big wolves. But we can adapt the Incubation Druid to block it if they want to get spicy. And they don't. So we're just gonna take one again. They're gonna make a wolf. And we're gonna respond by adapting our and hope they don't have a boomerang? Unsummoned specifically. Okay, we got our 3/5. They've got their 3/3. And we're about to hope they don't have another counterspell and have an 8/8 that draws us 4 cards and gains us 4 life. Crossed they don't have a counterspell. Fingers crossed they don't have the counterspell. When are we? Okay, we're still in their end step. In our upkeep. Oh boy, opponent. Again, the hovering every single card on our side of the battlefield. I mean, I know it's not Vendilion Click. Trickster, got it. Retargeting, probably Incubation Druid. Gonna add red to discard it, green to return to our hands. It doesn't actually matter. We'll add red. Green. Green. We need 3 mana for each of these, so I think that's enough. So now let's activate this. Pick up a land. Roll. And we're going to start shooting down our opponent's stuff. Come on. Opponent. You not see what we're doing. We have 6, so to that. Starting with has to come to land. I guess we'll discard the. Now it will resolve. Okay. It's a little takes us off being able to do interesting stuff with Hydroid Crisis, but we can still cast Nissa and make a 3/3. We cleared out some stuff from the board, including their big, and we may just want to cast a smaller Hydroid Crisis. We can still X of 4 next turn, draws us 2 cards, gains us 2 life. Again, assuming they don't have a counterspell, we are down to 1 land in hand. Can also cast this Cavalier of Thorns, which is what I'm going to go for. Do they have the counterspell? Back with the hovering on everything again. Opponent, please be respectful of other players' time. I realize Flash is a control deck, but this game's taking forever. Alright. You got it, opponent. You had another counterspell. Once again, we're not attacking. Though, probably neither are they. Just gonna draw another card. We may be flinging this Hinterland Harbor at our opponent next turn, or not at our one of their spectrals. Now they have 2, so that matters less. Start getting 2'd every. Okay, there's Hinterland Harbor, which is sadly going to be tapped. And this is pretty good, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. X of 5 Hydroid Crisis also. Now, if they have another counterspell, at least we get to draw 2 cards and gain 2 life. Like to see a 5/5 in the air here, because that feels pretty good against their current board. But they clearly have something, because once again they've brought the rope up. So, okay, we're going to syncopate again. Alright, we do get a land, and we have a 3 damage Omnath next turn. No attacks, but we have a 3 damage Omnath next turn, which is pretty good. They're just going to keep drawing cards and dinging us. Sadly, the 3 damage Omnath is probably just going to tag down one of the Spectral Sailors, because they're the ones that keep dealing damage to us. But we can also make the Living Twister yet bigger, or the Leafkin Druid if we want to make it bigger. You know, lots of stuff can get bigger next turn. Or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We actually have enough. We play this to generate red. Actually, we can just play that tapped. 3 red mana. This is blue. This can be green. Red, red, green. Yep. It was a 4 damage Omnath and another ground blocker. And it's counterspell bait. Overtapping here was definitely a mistake on my part. I just was more counting to see if I could do everything I wanted to do this turn, and so now I've given them a clear indication that I have something else in my hand that I want to cast, which kind of sucks. So we're actually going to go ahead this turn and try to cast. Because Nissa is still a very big threat, and we can untap the Stomping Ground and cast Paradise Druid if they don't add a negate. Okay. I mean, it's no surprise that opponent has had so many counterspells, because they've had the Spectral Sailors drawing them cards for a while. And there's another Nightpack Ambusher. Now the Wolf is big boy again. That's a problem, but we can Omnath that down, because we'll have a 4 damage Omnath next turn. If, again, they don't have yet another counterspell. Live draw also here, still mass manipulation, because we can generate 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. So we can take 2 things. We can take the Nightpack Ambusher and the Wolf from them. Still doesn't answer the Spectral Sailor problem, but so maybe we just steal both Spectral Sailors. we'll say opponent has drawn more lands than us, but has also been drawing cards than us, so maybe that's probably a 6-1 together. Opponent, I'm just really wondering what the heck you're doing. Really, really wondering what the heck you're doing. Gonna go back to hovering everything we have again, I see. This is painful, man. If you watch our streams, you know that Max often talks about respecting other players' time. This is what we're talking about. I understand this is still a very precarious board state. We're representing a lot of ability to deal damage to them via Living Twister. We have a ton of mana, even though we only have 3 lands. But please just another Merfolk Trickster. All right, this time we're just gonna let that resolve. Yep, you got it, opponent. Our Incubation Druid has no abilities this turn. In try to Omnath, but I'm assuming that's a counterspell given the way this game's been going. Yeah, from here I don't necessarily know if we can win this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and scoop that up. Ugh, opponent, that was so slow. I get it, they had a lot to do there, but that was really slow. Hey, Arena? Hey, Arena? There we go. That was weird. Haven't seen that before. Wasn't gonna let me play. Alright, let's dodge Blue Green Flash until we build it ourselves. I really want to. Dodge playing against it, though. Hey, Arena. There we go. All right, 3 cards, three cards, 3 lands. Arisen Reef. All right, this hand looks like gas. We're gonna keep this. We're slow. We're definitely slow. We have no play till turn 3, but then turn 3 is that. Turn 4 Omnath. Turn 5 Cavalier of Thorns. Probably. Hello. Blank. There we go. Correctly give our opponent the hello. Temple Garden into Llanowar Elves. Opponent is also ramping. Let's tap Steam Vent. Play Leafkin Druid next turn. Off this Hinterland Harbor. That way we can play the Stomping Ground tapped and still play the Risen Reef 3. And then the Omnath deals yet more damage. Good, since our opponent is ramping, we need to be able to deal more damage. Yep, it's Bant, it's Incubate. We know how this goes. Cast our Leafkin Druid. What's nice about the Leafkin Druid, assuming it sticks around, which it probably will against Bant, is that we can cast the Omnath and then play a land on turn 4. Oh boy. Yeah, that card's unfair, by the way. This card's ridiculous. I mean, we're going to take 3 blocks. Llanowar Elf. Stomping Ground. So we are going to get to shock out one of their lands here, probably, unless they either remove our Leafkin Druid or steal it or something like that. 6 mana is possible here. It's unlikely, but it's possible. Okay, still only 1 forest, so I'll take that. Again, 6 is still doable here, or they could just, nope, I thought they were going to adapt the Incubation Druid, but they didn't. So that adapts for 5. Getting to Omnath down one of their lands is a nice tempo play, especially if they turn the forest into... Okay, no, they played correctly and did not turn the forest into an Omnath. I see. Well, yep, that's frustrating. Maybe they will turn a forest into an Omnath? No. Or an Omnath, an elemental. They have 10 though. No blocks. That hurts. So we will ask the Omnath that you correctly identified that we had, opponent. Put a land into play. It's not pay life. Put a counter on the Omnath so it survives the combat. And since we're not doing anything with the mana, put that on tapped. That so I can block a land where Elf profitably has to. Block an unmolested Incubation Druid if it has to. Problem I'm facing here is the -8 is well within their reach. Getting to take out one of their lands was very nice, but again, with the -8 being so close to in reach, that's Yep. Are we dead? Probably. So we block here, we block here, that's still 7. Yep. Make sure they see it. Yep. That'll do it. Jeez. Yeah, Bant's nuts too. We were a turn away from really being able to start going off, which kind of sucks because we could have cast Nissa and the... Really? Really, Arena? You're going to not let me play again? Really want to know what that's all about. But kind of hope we don't 1-3 this video because it's not going to be a real good representative showing of this deck. But this is why I pilot these decks in the cold like this, because sometimes you just have a bad run. And I want to be able to show that. My videos are honesty. Okay. 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 Sure. Cast an early Nissa, we can get into mass manipulation nonsense. Opponent has mulliganed. Hey, we're still alive, folks. We're still alive. Greedy mana bases, what greedy? Life-hungry mana bases that we have. Hey, alright. Don't have to pay life for that one. And we don't technically have to next turn unless we draw like something. Okay, opponent's got a Gateway Plaza. We're gonna put that into play tapped. Play this Leafkin. Attacks, pass it up. Kind of hoping opponent's playing like the 5-color Niv Mizzet deck or something ridiculous. Nope, opponent's got Planeswalkers. It's chromatic. Alright. Tapped. Nissa. Plus it. Basic Forest. Jam. Llanowar Elf. Now we can steal any number of creatures and or planeswalkers. Their interplanar beacon. They want to be casting planeswalkers, so let's see what they're gonna... Ravenous Chupa thingy. That's why I put it on a basic forest. Alright. Screen there. Screen there. Reef. Draws the other mass manipulation. plus Hinterland Harbor. Back for 3. Okay, again, we're in a place where mass manipulation is pretty good. Turning the Hinterland Harbor into a creature was probably a bad idea because if another Ravenous Chupacabra comes down. Okay. We're going to steal that Chupacabra and that Vraska and her token. We don't have 4 blue. What am I doing? We have 3 blue. Come on. 2. Yeah, we do have. Bad at math. Ooh. Tap this for it. Blue. 2. Add 2. 6 is 3 things. We'll mass manipulate 3 things. Vraska again. Going to jam for 2, and our opponent has conceded because our Nissa's going ultimate next turn. We have all their creatures. They didn't even know about our Hydrated Crisis or the other mass manipulation. We have manipulated the masses successfully. That was fun. That card's dumb. And I like any format where XX blue 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 is castable. Let me do that more often, please, Magic Arena, and just Magic the Gathering in general. Let me go XX blue 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 more often, please. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. All right, it's turn 2 Risen Reef, turn 3 Omnath. I like it. Also turn 2 Living Twister if we want to get down there, if they're like mono red or something. So we have to take a bunch of damage to get there. Give them the hello while they're still deciding. Mulligan. Hey, opponent taking a mulligan hurts, but it feels good. Masochism. Hurts, but it feels good. Jeez, must be a really hard mulligan decision for them. That kind of stinks. I definitely don't want to play against an opponent that gets screwed just by mulliganing. Like, that always hurts. Rolf, get in! Alright, hoping for a land that will come into play untapped. Several 1-times, please. Oh no. Okay, just a healer. Deal with that. That is certainly not a land that will come into play untapped. So, cast this Risen Reef. Draw land world. Alright, it's done. Probably, not guaranteed, probably gonna Omnath down that Healer's Hawk just because I don't want. Nope, we're gonna Omnath down that Sky Knight Vanguard. I'd rather them gain 1 life for a little while. Omnath down. Omnath. Be gone. Draw a card. Sack for 1. So we get to play Living Twister and Temple of Mystery next turn if that's where we want to go. We can also play this other Llanowar. We can play Nissa next turn. Sure. Leonin Vanguard. You got it, opponent. Let's see what casting this Living Twister throws us. Another Nissa. Okay. Let's play a Temple. Undo. Mystery. I'm going to bottom this because we don't do that. The elemental trigger is nice, but I think our next turns are kind of spoken for. I mean, yeah, Shock's a real card, but board is much wider than theirs. Start picking up lands and throwing them at stuff. We can throw these lands in our hand at stuff because we have 6 mana on the battlefield with Nissa coming around. Got it, opponent. I will get 1'd again. are approaching feather territory, which we have to be concerned about. So, yeah, play this Nissa. Play this Temple of Mystery. Try Prison Reef yet bigger. Diversifying. Wider threats, not taller threats. Gonna leave that Cavalier right on top. Tap Reading Pool. It taps. We're going to jam. Because if they try to do any block tricks with Leonin Vanguard, not be able to throw any land at them. Alright. And we untap the wrong land to be able to throw land at our opponent. So we're going to lose our Omnath here, but actually not all that upset about that. Okay. Big Hydroid Crisis next turn looks pretty good because that's 2 mana, 4 mana, 6 mana, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana, 12 mana. So 6 cards, 6 life, 12 Hydroid Crisis. You got it, opponent. Implore you to answer our damn Hydroid Crisis next turn. Also, we don't need to go that big, and we can just kill this Hawk and its Vanguard. Still cast. So here's... We're going to do 2 green mana, because that's 1 green to throw, 1 red to do. Red mana out of that. We're going to tap that for green mana. Pay green mana. Up Temple of Mystery. To throw 10 there. Discard the theme vent. Play the Temple of Mystery. We're going to scry. We're going to get that land out of the way. And we're going to jam. We are going to red mana, green mana, pick up a land, tap the control, and throw it at our opponent's face. As Ivanu said, throw it in their faces. Alright, so that's 3 wins. Slowly. Hey, unlocked a pack. Alright, that's cool. Thanks, Mastery System. Let's keep going. Rough start. Interesting turnaround. Winston-Salem 420 Wizard. As, again, Max is fond of saying, they let you pick your own name on this program. So this is going to kind of be awkward because we can't cast a turn 1 Llanowar Elf. So we're going to go for a tap Steam Vents, Crag on 2, cast Llanowar Elf anyway, and then just cast the Risen Reef on turn 3. That's the plan, at least. The opponent low. Salem Wizard. Again, hope they're from North Carolina and not just making reference to Winston-Salem brand cigarettes. Okay, we got a Watery Grave and a Fountain of Renewal. Yikes. Alright, we're going to go for the Leaf Kindred. No, we're still going to go for the... Because I want to be able to cast this Risen Reef without taking damage off the Steam Vent. Plus, the Leaf Kindred and Risen is this is probably just going to go ahead and get countered. Nope. Alright, it landed. Okay. Let's put that into play. Enters tapped. Dismiss. Opponent's gaining life. I don't care. If they want to play a bunch of stuff, we're ramping. They're taking just buttloads of damage. No, they're just going to renew that damage. Alright. Let's quest 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This makes 6, so we'll play Omnath. Kind of did that in the wrong order, but deal some damage about it. Okay, drew that. Play a land. Put a counter on the Risen Reef because it can attack this turn. Play a Leafkin Druid. Trigger a bunch of stuff. Gonna draw a card. And jam for 2. Definitely left out a point of damage there, which when our opponent's gaining 2 life a turn is a non-zero amount of damage. But we also have, alright, Dovin's Acuity. Opponent is gaining yet more life. But we're ramping, so there's also that. Going to go ahead and put this Nissa into play. Make this Hinterland Heart. Attack our opponent for 3, 4, 7, 9. And then we're going to make this incubate. And this land of work. I mean, we're certainly live to get Kaya's Wrath here, so maybe dumping our hand wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but yep, that was Kaya's Wrath. Start with a Risen Reef. Temple into play. Scry that Steam Vent to the bottom. Play this as well. Tick up. Steam Venoman. Attack our opponent. The double Fountain of Renewal is just a beating is the word for it. And they're just gaining more life. Adios, Nissa. It's been nice. I mean, we're going to jam for 6. For half their life total. Play that. Turn. And I want to see him commit something to the board that isn't just Dovin's Acuity. Dovin is Acuity, but come on, Winston-Salem 420 Wizard. And we're going to Revitalize, bouncing the Dovin's Acuity back to our hand. We're going to draw a basic, so we'll once again attack for more than half their life total. Pass the turn. Boy, this Dovin's Acuity, just the life gain out of this opponent, it's just ungodly. Yep, and there's yet more life gained. All of that. All of that. Love to draw a card that wasn't a land. Fuck. Breathe them again. I mean, I'd love for them to play a creature. They don't have to. It's the sad thing, because they're gaining more life than we were able to deal in damage. But love to see them draw or play a creature here. Oh boy, another Fountain of Renewal. Hey, a Krasis. How much you want to bet this is counterspell mana? Alright, so they can syncopate for 2. So let's leave 2 mana back. So that leaves us with that, call it 4. Okay, we've drawn some stuff. Okay, Living Twister can throw stuff at them. Okay, so it resolved. Alright. Let's draw some cards. It dealt the amount of damage they gained in life. Living Twister is real, though, because we can those 3 and then make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana next turn, which throws 2 things at their head. So Hit him for 5, 7, 8, 9, which is not enough. Play the Living Twister and get ready to do exactly that. I've never felt further behind while being 12 life points and 3 creatures ahead of my opponent. This is an interesting feeling. But it just feels like every time I chip away, they just gain it back, gain it back, gain it back. But eventually I have to have something. And what are they holding? They've got a full grip. Another Vraska's Contempt. Well, that's the third one. That's 3 Vraska's Contempt, Sakai's Wrath, and Revitalize. The only non-finale or Dovin's Acuity spells they've cast this game. And we've drawn another. Go ahead and put that into play tapped. Let's attack them for 3 yet again. Which will then just be undone by the Fountains of Renewal. And let's cast this living. Which is an elemental. Hey, Anissa. Now we're talking. Mana to do it this turn, but now we're talking. We're gonna net damage this turn. Be still my beating heart. Actually going to net damage. Have a Dovin's Acuity, opponent. What, pray tell, are you holding in your hand if they're not counterspells? Sure. I'll let you tap out for that. Get Anissa. Get a Living Twister. We got Anissa picking up. Jam with it. Again, we're damage positive on the turn. Resolves. Alright, opponent, we're asking questions again. Did you find another board wipe spell? Presently, we are off the blue mana. We need to cast. Oh my god. Oh. Someone in the comments, please, I'm begging you, if you watch all the way through to this video, which, as we are nearing an hour at this point, I hope you're still here, please tell me how much life my opponent gained this game, because they should have been dead 6 ways to Sunday by now. The Elder Spell. You know what, opponent? You got it. You have got it. Hey, Cavalier. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Gem for 5. And try to land a big dude. Big leafy boy. He probably has dummy thick thighs. Leafy boy, are there even any lands to hit? Opponent. Lizard Bound Kraken, not even mad about the stuff we milled. Turn. You got it, opponent. Alright, we have lethal. Impending Kaya's Wrath or Cleansing Nova notwithstanding, we presently have lethal. We have 10 on board and we can chuck lands at their face. Alright, let's attack. settle. Okay. Can we 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 is 5 lands, does 2 damage. Get is then we'd have nothing but 3 lands. Let's try this. Red there, green there, green there, red there, red there, there. 6 mana. Pick up land. And we need to make green mana. Didn't do that right. Up a land. Throw a land. Oh, opponent, come on. You already looked at our graveyard a ton. Us getting to get 3 more lands out of our deck is going to get us down to way few lands. Less than 10 at that point. Alright, let's throw another land at your face. And why not? Let's throw it at your face. Fruitbound Crag. Now we'll resolve your settle. Go get 3 lands. Action. 1 basic left in our library. Definitely has to bring us below 10 lands. Come on, there's like a Cavalier of Thorns left in our library. There's Risen Reef. There's, I think, another Living Twister. We got 1 Living Twister in exile. There's a Hydroid Crisis. Oh my god. Hydroid Crisis left. There's Uamnath? Said good game, but sure. I mean, are you going to play a payload, or are you just going to try to wait me out here? Okay. Am I getting an Omniscience? This creature or planeswalker, we're just stealing it with this mass manipulation now that we have 4 blue mana. And steal 2 things. No! Just another Dove Insecurity. Somehow we're still up in cards. Oh, God. Just go. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 of 24? 6 lands left, or 25? Leaves or 17. Fuck. 25, I think. So 8 lands left in our library. Come on. 8 out of 26. Okay, command. Okay. Okay. Well, we can mass manipulation the Nissa and the 2 creatures. Not the 2 creatures, just 1. Haha. Because we need 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, we gotta think here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 means we can steal 3 things. Bonk. If they have a counterspell, we're humped. All right, opponent. Well, no. We've got one more turn. Unless they want to... They have to draw exactly our other mass manipulation, or they got us. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and concede. Because the life gain, I mean, the 100 points of damage we dealt to them that game wasn't good enough, so... Tough cookies. Well, a 3-3, one of those losses was definitely not good. The other ones were, well, the other one that we didn't just have was all right. That one was mind-bending. I'm sure I made copious punts, but when your opponent gains, I mean, probably 100 life, not 100 life, 40 or 50 life over the course of a game, that's goddamn something. Let's see what we get in stuff. It's none of it's rare or higher. We get a heartwarming redemption. Pythion's back with his people. Bark Hide Troll. Card's really good. And a pilfering imp. Oh boy. All right, well that's gonna do it for that video. Definitely not a great showing, but there were turns and there were games in there that really showed the power of the deck. So if you're interested in something while Standard's been a little long in the tooth, Temur Elementals, it's brand new. Play it. Make sure you check us out. It's www.superliminalfilms.com. We can also be found on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and right here on good old YouTube if you like what you're seeing, or right down below us. Hit that like button. As they say, smash the subscribe button. Get the bell on. Bye, everybody.